views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to Conscious Confidence Radio, a timeless wisdom with Sarah Main. Follow host Sarah Main on her ongoing journey of conscious confidence and gain timeless wisdom to unleash unparalleled confidence. A conscious confidence. Learn to ignite the living spark of wisdom, a new narrative for fulfillment contained in Sanskrit and the ancient, powerful, engaging, and fun conscious conversations to discover your own magnificent true self. Learn to dispel the fear shadow as Sarah provides essential knowledge about embracing change and the power of transformation. Get ready. Conscious Confidence starts now.
Wow. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Dr. Pat, and as you know, I get to co-host with some of the most amazing people. But what you don't know is behind the scenes, I get to spend just incredible journey with people that have said yes to calling forth something that is so much greater than any of us. And, you know, I was thinking about it this weekend when I was thinking about Sarah Main, who is here today with us as we launch not just a radio show. I thought about this. I thought about what I was going to say. When it's so much more than a radio show, and I find myself sometimes speechless in those moments. I'm getting a little choked up here, because for me to be able to have the honor to take a walk and walk a journey with someone such as Sarah, you know, Sarah, whose entire life is dedicated to a way of living and now is being brought forth for us, all of us, to take the journey with her and to change our lives for the better. And I'm talking about the journey, the conscious confidence journey, a timeless wisdom. And, you know, we're going to hear about Sarah, you know, as she and I talk about what this journey's been like. But one of the things that happens, and all of us should know this, that when we are given and gifted an idea for the world, when we're gifted an idea for the world, we cannot avoid taking the journey ourselves. The fear, the expansive nature of it, the doubt that creeps in, photo shoots, which you're thinking, why am I even doing that? All of the above, because somehow we say yes. But Sarah said yes decades ago as a child, years ago in the journey, how to help others live an extraordinary life. Today, you're going to hear about conscious confidence built on ancient wisdom. You're going to hear about Sanskrit. What is it? How can we tap in to the purity of that? But more importantly, this is the first of a series of information shows that we're going to do so that we can all open up to a love, a kindness, and a new way of being. As a matter of fact, a new narrative for confidence. Sarah, it's great to have you here.
Thank you, Pat. And what a beautiful introduction. I couldn't have imagined you were going to say something so lovely. Thank you so much. And from the outset, I want to thank you for being there with me on this journey. I honestly didn't expect the journey of conscious confidence to where it's got to now. It's been unbelievable.
You know, it's interesting, Sarah. You know, when I talk with people and I try to explain, and you and I were joking about this a little bit, when I try to explain to them, you know, this is going to take on a life of its own. Other radio networks say, oh my gosh, we can get your show thrown up in 2 weeks, right? And they're right, they can. The question is, do we want to throw a show up in 2 weeks, or do we want the show to be the vehicle for something greater? What do you think?
absolutely the vehicle for something greater. And the whole process, letting it emerge to this point where it's ready to be offered. It'll keep growing. It's still growing, but where it's ready to be offered. And I have so appreciated your openness, your creativity, and your non-judgmental approach. It's allowed it to come forth from me, because we're talking about something that's, I could say it's deep within me. It is me, if you like. It started when I was so young that I don't really know anything else, but I didn't know what I knew until you started drawing it out.
Well, I love this because for me, this is what the world needs. Let's talk about conscious confidence for a minute for people that are thinking, wow, that sounds cool. Conscious confidence. Well, don't I have that? Well, wait a minute. As the show goes on, we're going to find out what each of us has and what each of us might want. But let's talk about what conscious confidence is, because part of your journey was actually figuring that out.
Yeah. Yep. Well, yes. Conscious confidence, in essence, is being awake and aware, connected deeply within yourself to yourself, where it's somewhere within yourself that is unchanging, evolving certainly, but fundamentally unchanging. And from that, being able to act, live your life fully, joyously, creatively, expansively, full of purpose and passion. And they're all lovely words, but to actually have that experience, so that if a new opportunity approaches or comes into your experience, that you can say unqualifiedly yes and follow it. If you find that you hide in certain situations because you just don't think you can do something, or you don't have a belief in yourself, conscious confidence is the very awake and aware attitude and awareness of yourself, your expansive nature, your magnificent self, that will allow you to basically do anything. We hear these phrases a lot, but I'm talking about a practical program that will actually evolve that within yourself. And practical philosophy, practical spirituality was what I was trained in from the age of 10.
You know, when we're thinking about this, we're looking at the world we live in, and we're thinking about, you know, chaos is one of the words that comes to mind, right, Sarah? And thinking about it. But, you know, out of a world that people may think is, you know, filled with chaos, comes a remedy, so to speak. You know, comes a new level of awareness. And here we are talking about conscious confidence. You know, what was the beginning like for you in your childhood? What was your first connection that you could remember? I know I'm asking you to go back a little bit.
Oh, thanks. I'm not that old. I had a very, very clear memory when I was 8 years old. And I was standing on the back steps outside our house where I grew up in Sydney. And I was 8 years old, and I was just standing on the back step during the day. And I remember sort of looking into the distance and looking up, and I felt, but more importantly within myself, and almost from without, but also within, I felt this call, this sound in it was like a loud roar, but it was a loud roar, but a benevolent roar, loving, benevolent, all expansive roar. And I can only describe it as a roar. And it just penetrated everything within me, without. And with it was this incredible, all expansive, limitless awareness. That it's hard to put words to it. But that was the sense. And I remember as a child, you don't know anything else. Unfortunately, the chattering mind isn't really active at that age. Mm-hmm. And so it just complete openness. I remember just standing there, and it was like every single part of me was just completely open. And I heard it, and there was no resistance. It was just complete merging with that. And this whole conscious confidence journey has brought me back to that some decades later.
Well, and what I love about this is today is the introduction to the world. I mean, I hadn't thought about that. Today is the introduction to the world. 24 hours ago, if someone were to Google Sarah Main, they would find one aspect of your work. Today, folks can go to sarahmain.com and all of a sudden there it is. All of a sudden there it is. It's like, there it is. But it's always been within you. And isn't that what conscious confidence is about? Is about helping people see that we have it within us. And sometimes we just need help getting it out, right?
Yes, exactly. And evolving it within yourself so that you establish, and that establishment takes just a practice, focused practice, and some knowledge to establish it within yourself. And then you don't need external props. It's all within yourself. Because the truth is, you are universal. Everyone is universal. We talk about a human being. That being is universal. It may not feel like it every day, but that is the truth matter. Certainly that was something I was taught from the age of 10.
Yeah, and we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the misconception of confidence. Yes. And we have a misconception. We're going to take folks on a journey today of looking at the misconceptions, because I think we can all relate to them. But then beyond that misconception is to really find out what is at the heart of conscious confidence. And as I said before, for those of you watching on Facebook, we're on Facebook Live. We've got this great show planned for you. But beyond all that, go check it out. SarahMain, MANE.com. We're going to take a short break when we come back. Misconceptions about confidence. Am I the only one that feels like I don't get it? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
What is a brilliant culture, and how do we create them? Why are they important? Claudette Rowley has created a breakthrough 5-step process to help you align your culture with your business strategy for exceptional results. Looking for a culture that drives organizational excellence? Listen to Cultural Brilliance Radio, the second and fourth Friday of each month at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. To learn more or work with Claudette, visit culturalbrilliance.com.
Are you looking for the perfect setting for your next workshop or retreat? At Spiritfire Meditative Retreat Center, cultivating consciousness is what we do best. Our guests count on us to create an atmosphere that supports serenity and well-being. We lead from the heart and create space for the mind. Freshly prepared meals designed with local and organic ingredients, 95 acres of beautiful woods and pastures, and a facility built with green in mind. This is what you'll find at Spiritfire. For more information, visit spiritfireretreatcenter.com.
Do you ever feel as if you're working twice as hard but only getting half as far? Are you trying to connect with your path in life and finding it elusive? Mainstream Metaphysics Radio is a weekly call-in show where we harness our connection with the universe and use what is in our power to affect change for optimal success and happiness. This hit show bridges the divide between what is and what we do not know. Eve, named one of the country's top psychics, also known as the MBA Psychic, invites you on this journey for this live call-in show with readings, featured guests, leaders, and visionaries in both business and spiritual callings. So join Eve Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com as she takes metaphysics mainstream. For more information about Eve, visit EliteTarot.com. That's EliteTarot.com.
Best-selling author, spiritual life, and business coach Joe Nunziata brings his higher energy and no-nonsense style to people who are ready to make powerful changes now. Wake up, step up, power up with a shot of Joe. Join Joe the second and fourth Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern for 30 minutes of high energy, no nonsense, and powerful tools to make powerful changes. Visit joenuns.com. That's JOENUNZ.com.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. I am so thrilled to be talking with all of you about conscious confidence and introducing you to Sarah Main. You know, today's show is really an overview, just to give you a little taste of what the journey has been like, you know, for Sarah and I in these past several months. And as a result of that, you know, today is a birthday, so to speak. And when we think about birthdays, we think about what it is we want to bring forth in this lifetime. In Sarah's lifetime, it is to be able to talk about conscious confidence, but also to help all of us understand that it's not a concept. It's a way of life. It's a way we can all participate in it. Sarah, it's great to have you here. I mean, isn't this the coolest thing? Like, don't you think, giving birth?
It's amazing. Honestly, it is amazing. I would never have dreamt of it.
But you see, part of your willingness and all the yeses, and to be aware yourself, and then to follow this level of consciousness as well as confidence is what's got us here. And in a way that I couldn't imagine. But it does have to do with the misconceptions, I think, of confidence. It really does, because I think we grow up in a society where confidence gets to mean one thing and is so plugged into an overinflated ego that it gets a bad rap. What do you think?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that really made me feel that this was worth pursuing. And certainly at an intellectual level, something in me said, you know, I always felt I lacked confidence, and you know, I was sort of running around within myself, pulling in different things to make me feel more strong, more confident when I had to do something. People wouldn't always think from the outside, but that was certainly my experience. I'd look at people who were confident, and I think, how are you like that? Were you just born like that? How do you get to be like you? You know, and here am I from the age of 10, I've got all this philosophy and I've got this knowledge, this unbelievably profound, powerful, beautiful knowledge. It tells you about the deepest part of yourself and self-realization, and I've got Sanskrit, I've got everything. And I still felt at times like I was jelly inside, and I said no to things because I was too scared, you know, the whole life experience. And then and this has gone on for a while. But then when I started really looking into this, and I saw comments about confidence like it's an elusive thing. It seems to evaporate just when you need it, particularly, say, for performers dealing with stage fright, for example. And that was really one of the points where I started on this journey, was just addressing the area of stage fright. But it's grown into this whole thing of conscious confidence, which is just vastly beyond just the particular context of stage fright. It encompasses it, but it's way beyond that, because this is about living your life. I suspect it's living your life without stage fright. But then I considered all these different areas where people appear confident, and yet often it's some sort of brashness or arrogance, not always, but brashness or arrogance. It can be reckless confidence. You just go out and do something completely ridiculous. it is a form of confidence, but it's not what I would call conscious confidence. And that all those forms of confidence often mask what's underneath, which is a lack of confidence. And that's a lack of connection with yourself, with something you can trust at all times, in all situations, where you never need to fear. Yes, you might feel nervous if you're going to go out on stage and give a talk. That's natural. That's just natural adrenaline, which comes because you respect your audience and you want to do a really good job.
Yeah.
That's natural. And there's plenty of techniques to actually learn to manage that. But I'm talking, conscious confidence is something much, much broader than that.
Yeah.
It's about getting up every single day of your life, and you have the confidence and the openness to follow your passion, your purpose, your journey, and evolve beauty and joy and fulfillment and meaning in your life. And I'm not talking about just nice words. I'm talking about that actually happening.
Yeah, I was listening to, I can't remember, I listened to a lot of people that throughout my day when I'm working, I've got somebody talking about something positive or something spiritual or something going on in the background. And, one of the comments was on, we must leap into those things we're being called to leap into, even if we don't know how to do them.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't leaped, I wouldn't be here talking with you. And I'm still a student of this.
Yeah.
And, but isn't there at some level a knowing that we've prepared all of our lives for this, right?
Yes.
Maybe
yes.
Hear me right, maybe.
No, absolutely. Sometimes, that is a little deeper down within ourselves, and we need to actually clear the way so that we can hear that. People talk about finding their purpose, and there's usually a bit of a process. Sounds a bit technical, but there's a bit of a process to actually clear, purify, clarify within ourselves. And that's the journey, but that's the journey of life. I mean, that's what I've discovered. It's not the arrival, it's the journey. And everyone says that, but it is true. It's absolutely true. And it doesn't stop. It's this constantly evolution of the consciousness within ourselves, of the awareness within ourselves. And as it grows, as it releases, more possibilities are available. And as you've discovered, and everyone does, you just have more and more and more to give. And that seems to be right for a human being. That's what we're designed to do.
One of the things I want to ask you about, and I'd love for you to talk about it, is conscious confidence, a timeless wisdom. And, you and I spend a lot of time on talking about those 5 words, right? I mean, people are thinking, what's the problem? What's the problem, ladies? How much time could you spend on 5 words?
A long time.
I know, but it really, I mean, it was conscious confidence. What? But there is an importance to those 5 words, which weren't 5. They were more than 5, but now they're 5.
Yeah.
What's important to talk about is under the misconception, though, now, is the understanding of what a timeless wisdom is. Because this is the key, isn't it?
Yes. And I think the word in amongst all our formulations, and that was all part of the fun.
It's so fun. Sarah and I are laughing because for those of you that have never worked with me, I can take a decision about what to call something. It could be a month, but there's a reason for, look, Sarah's laughing, but what the audience is not seeing is what's actually on your back wall. And maybe we'll do that next time of all of the energy and the life force that went into this. Yeah. But a timeless wisdom is so important for us to hold on to and understand how the timeless wisdom is what the world needs today.
Yes. I was blessed. I don't know another word that's deeper or stronger to express the blessing that I received from the age of 10 of being taught source, S-O-U-R-C-E, not S-A-U, how do you spell it? S-A-U-C-E. Spelling at 6:30 in the morning is not the best. I was taught source knowledge, source wisdom, the source of something. Go to the source, find the principle. That's what I was taught. And a timeless wisdom comes from that pursuit of source knowledge. It appears like it's ancient, and we trialed ancient, and ancient doesn't do it for me, because ancient implies that there was a point before. It's old, it's really, really old, but there was a time before it was manifest, whereas timeless wisdom is forever. It's eternal. It's always available. It has always been available. It will always be available. So just imagine that is something you can rely on. Mm-hmm. That is something that is not part of the fashion industry. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just talking clothing. Unfortunately, education's being swept up as a fashion industry item as well, because it keeps changing.
Yeah.
Anyone who's a teacher will know that what you taught 10 years ago is completely different from now. I mean, currently 2 + 2 still equal 4, so you're lucky you still have to teach that, but they haven't changed that yet.
Yeah, but how you get to derive it has changed.
Yes.
How you get to 4 used to be a simple 2 and 2 is 4, but now how you derive that is changed significantly.
Yeah.
Right?
So and that's the point. Now we are in an age where everything is changing. Okay, that's an obvious statement, but it really is changing. A lot of traditions and behaviors that were just part of how you and I grew up,
yep,
they've all gone.
Yeah.
Just this acceptance that this is how it is, they've all gone. And fine, they've had their time, they've played their part, and everything comes and everything goes. But all those traditions in the cultures and in the societies gave everyone a certain confidence, really an unexamined confidence. It was just how it was. It didn't change. You came home from school. Generally speaking, your mother was home, said hi to mum. You did your homework. You took in Australia, we wear school uniforms. You took your uniform off after you'd done your homework, had your afternoon tea, you got on your bike, you went for a ride, or you played with your friends in the street, came home, had dinner, and so on and so forth. There were simple things that just didn't change.
Right.
And you were taught to stand up for someone in the bus and do this and don't do that. It was all very clear and prescriptive. But all of that has gone as a societal sort of unspoken agreement.
Yeah.
Of course, families and parents are inculcating and bringing up their children beautifully, but it's much harder because each family has to decide what they want to do now. And there's an absolute plethora of things to choose from. You've got the internet, you've got books, you've got experts, you've got everything. And this is on every aspect of our life. We've got to figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to be for everything in our life, because it's not just an unspoken tradition anymore.
Yeah, and let's not forget that before we actually decide, maybe we should post the question on our Facebook page and get help from 10,000 people. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about this idea of fear. Did you all know? Did you know that fear has a shadow? When we come back, we're going to talk about those things that get in the way of us completely emerging conscious confidence way. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the fear shadow. What is it and what's the solution? Stay tuned, everyone. Sarah Main. For more information, go to sarahmain.com. And for many of you, this is the first of an entire series we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about, what the steps of transformation are. We're going to be talking about the fear shadow. We're even going to be talking about stage fright free. Gosh, that took me years to do. And by the way, I was like, only on radio where they don't even see you. Stay tuned. Well, now that's changed. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back.
Curious about the meaning of life? Do you want to deepen your spiritual practice? The School for Esoteric Studies offers online training to spiritual seekers from all paths of life and individual coaching. Our courses synthesize Eastern and Western spiritual traditions based on meditation, study, and service applied to everyday life. The school also organizes group meditations each year to benefit humanity. Whether you're just beginning to reflect on the spiritual side of your life or are a more experienced spiritual seeker, the school warmly welcomes you to join our group. To learn more about our courses and services, please visit esotericstudies.net. That's esotericstudies.net.
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show, stellar conversations to illuminate your journey, engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW, AM 1150, and Transformation Talk Radio.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
A word of caution: if you prefer the status quo and you are not interested in improving every aspect of your life, this book will trigger the shift out of you. The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens is available now. Author Colette Steffen brings the powerful knowledge and life-changing energy and empowerment from the radio airwaves to the pages of her new book. To get your copy in paperback or ebook, visit thetruthисfunny.com today.
Amber Teal, founder of The Healthy Edge, is bringing you the hit show Healthy Edge Radio, living with power, passion, and purpose. Amber provides the support and tools necessary for you to finally release the weight and emotions that are hidden beneath the weight. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information on how you can take the next step with Amber, visit getthehealthyedge.com.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. So great to connect with you, Eric. Thank you so much. It's really great to hear your voice. Happy holidays to you as well.
Thank you.
I am so thrilled and honored to introduce all of you to Sarah Main. She's somebody you're going to hear a lot from as the weeks go on, the days go on. Today, we're attempting to give you an overview of conscious confidence, not only about talking about it, but the opportunities that Sarah's put together for whether you want to experience conscious confidence in your daily life, in your relationships, in your job. This is something that she's bringing to all of you to help you in a way that the world really calls forth for each of us to demonstrate. Part of the conversation is about fear. But when I say fear, we usually have a definition of fear that comes from psychology or flight and fright and all of that stuff you want to talk about. But what about a fear shadow? Sarah, this for me, first of all, it was the first time I ever heard about it. So I have a feeling it kind of just came to you. But I love the idea of a fear shadow. And the reason I love that, I mean, I don't like fear. So don't get me wrong with that. I don't want to be crazy with that. But I love the idea that we're talking about it as a shadow, which is different than a real life thing almost. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes, it did come to me exactly in that phrase, the fear shadow. And whenever something in this journey has come to me, I've just followed it. I haven't questioned its validity or veracity. I've just followed it because it's just had it's had a sort of a yes inside me. I need to follow this up. The thing is, the truth about ourselves is that we are ever present. It's like the sun, whereas we're eternal and ever present, like the sun. And then that which obscures it is like a cloud or a shadow that passes over. So we only experience the sun being hidden by a cloud, but then that cloud moves on and the sun is always there. We know that in an aeroplane, we can take off, the plane takes off on a dull day and we think, well, the sun's not there. And then the pilot will take the plane up through the clouds and there it's suddenly a blue sky and it's sunny above the cloud. Well, the fear shadow is the same. It just hovers over us. It can be a bit lower some days and a bit heavier and a bit darker, a bit like a storm cloud. Other days it can be some sort of light cloud and a light cloud that in a way doesn't kind of bother us. And so we think, well, we're fine, you know, that's not a problem, until an opportunity comes knocking or some challenge comes knocking. And then all of a sudden that fear shadow drops down and becomes quite heavy again. But it doesn't have any lasting reality. It's just an indication of our loss of connection with who we are, with the strength and power of who we are, the knowledge, the magnificence of who we are. And the fear shadow can be dispelled by proper connection with ourselves. Doesn't mean we don't feel it sometimes, but it will be dispelled much more easily with a proper connection with ourselves. And timeless wisdom shows us what to do, without a doubt. It's been doing it forever.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the idea of, first of all, recognizing that we have fear is super important. Yeah. But more important than that is we look at fear, Sarah, almost as a pathology. Yes. Do you know what I mean when I say pathology? Almost like a chronic thing, right? Yeah. And, you know, I think we can choose that. I know we can choose that. I mean, I've been afraid a lot of points in my life. But I was sharing a story yesterday with some ladies I work with where I was talking about a fear that I had one day in a very, very unlikely situation when I parked on a very high ridge as we were driving back from San Francisco. And I had to see the scenery, and I left the car running, left my car door open, jumped out of the car to see it, and Linda was in the passenger seat. And I didn't put the car in neutral. I mean, I didn't put the car in park. And there are no guardrails. And I was recalling that story as I was talking about it with someone yesterday. And I thought to myself, even talking with you about it, the reality of what could have happened there for me had me change the way that I walk through life to be much more careful, much more aware. Yeah. And I think that's what we're talking about, is learning ways to really face our fears but not become them. Isn't that what you help us with in this?
Absolutely. When you said face them, not become them, it's the degree to which you assume an identity, and I use those words deliberately, we assume an identity. It's not a real identity. It's not the truth of ourselves, but we assume an identity that is false. The degree to which we do that is the degree to which we experience fear, and it can become a severe condition, certainly, no question about that. But the root of it is still an assumption of an identity with something that just simply isn't real. And real is something that is true. It doesn't go away. It's here all the time. And the truth of ourselves is the one thing that never goes away.
So can we talk for a minute, though, about the truth of that and the word consciousness?
Yeah.
Because we are using the word consciousness. But for me, I think about that short story I share with you, and I bet you've been afraid in your life at different points in time, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But you have a big, big toolkit that you can reach down in. And I would imagine that, let's just call it consciousness, is in that toolkit.
Absolutely. Number one, that connection with myself, that I was taught, well, we all have that naturally, but we do need to be taught it so it's not lost as we grow up. It's probably a better way of describing it. And I was taught how to keep that connection and not lose it. And I was taught that from the age of 10. I was fortunate. My parents studied philosophy and meditation. They were incredibly open-minded. They came from England, post-war England, and they loved Australia. It was open, it was creative. There were possibilities here that simply they didn't find in the UK. And they discovered philosophy and meditation, and that opened the door for me, and I followed them into those classes at 10. I was keen. And when I got, I was asked, do I want to do it? I wanted to be there. I didn't quite know what to expect, but I wanted to be there. So I was taught from day one, first philosophy class, about how to simply stay with the awareness and let that expand. That awareness, that consciousness that is within myself, that is everywhere. And conscious confidence is about being in the present moment, because there is no actual fear in the present moment. We do experience fear. I experience fear all the time, but it's because the mind is either in the past and usually in the future. So we're flitting between past and future all the time, projections of what if, what could be. And you said that in your story about the car being with Linda.
Yeah.
And the point about conscious confidence is to raise our consciousness, raise our level of awareness, so that we're actually aware when the mind is presenting us with things that simply are not real. They're not present now. They seem real, but they're just not true and real. And the more we have a connection with ourselves, the more we are connected with what's actually real within ourselves, we become more aware of what's passing, what's transitory, and what's causing all the issues and the problems in our lives.
Well, this is really kind of one of the most important things I discovered along the way, Sarah. And as a matter of fact, Eric, let's skip the break because I want to make sure we're able to talk about this. One of the things I learned about consciousness, or rather, let me say awareness, is I learned that rather than ask the question of how do I solve the problem? See, that's the way we're used to doing things. Solve the problem. Let's fix it. Let's fix it. Let's solve the problem. But I was watching Jessica and you as we were getting ready and doing the video test and all of this. And you and I have talked on Skype, I cannot tell you how many times, 1,000,000 times. And for whatever reason, in setting this up, maybe the machine moved, whatever it was. But in watching Jessica walk you through, what she was doing, she was not trying to fix it. She was helping us get a new level of awareness, right? Yeah. Because what she was doing is she was saying, go here to this, go here to this, right? A new level of awareness. I learned something from one of our hosts a number of years ago, and it's this question. And this is the question that I want to really open up to talk about what's at the heart of conscious confidence.
Yeah.
I learned when I'm in a pickle, whatever it is, I learned to do two things. Before I even go anywhere, I say, thank you, God. I don't care what time of the day it is, whatever it is. It does good, bad, ugly, what color should I do my hair? It doesn't matter. But the question is, what else is possible here? See that question?
Yeah.
What else is possible? And the first thing I hear, I get an awareness. And so, there is a heart to conscious confidence. Help us understand what's at the heart of this, because I think this is really, for many people, a way to eliminate stress and agony and chaos.
Yeah. Thank you. It's a great question. What's at the heart of conscious confidence is a deep connection with yourself. And then the question is, and then what? Because we've still got to live our lives. We're not going to sit here with our eyes closed, having this lovely deep connection with ourselves all day. So then we go and consider, what are our core values? What's dear to us? What is important to us? Because it's connecting with that, it's being aware of that, it's operating from that, it's building our lives from that. That means we are establishing a foundation within ourselves that doesn't change. It may evolve naturally, but it's not this shifting, changing fashion industry item within ourselves where we're grabbing at this thing and that thing, trying to find some sort of rest and certainty and stillness in an ever-changing world. And we talked about all the traditions and so on and so forth that have sort of run their course quite naturally in society. Well, if we base our lives on an awareness of ourselves and then what's important to us, and we use the term values, that is a way of finding certainty and beauty and fulfillment in our life, because all our actions will arise from that. And I went back, I'm sure we'll talk about this, I went back to what Sanskrit says about values. Mm-hmm. And it's so beautiful because, values is out there, and certainly in corporate life they talk about values all the time.
Yeah.
But the Sanskrit indicates two aspects to the meaning of values. It's the root of something. It's like the seed or the root of a plant or a transaction or anything. It's the agreed point from which the action emanates. And it's also that which you honour. And honour is a very strong emotional force. They talk about giving respect and honour to an honoured guest that comes into your house. If you consider the feeling of that when an honoured guest comes into your house, the values you hold, you honour them. That's the power within ourselves that we naturally give. So they're very, very powerful and fundamental. And then from that is our attitude. Arising out of those values, our attitude. What is our attitude? And again, I went back to the Sanskrit on attitude. Very, very interesting. Several aspects to attitude. And it's all about being established, being fixed, but fixed not in a rigid way, right. in a way of being steady and strong and established. That's just one of the meanings. I could talk for hours on the Sanskrit itself, as you know. But if you just take values, the real meaning of values, that which is the root of something and what we honour, and then that which is established in those values, in our attitude, a positive attitude, that's at the heart of conscious confidence. Because if you raise your awareness through that, through a connection with yourself and your values and your attitude, you have an almighty basis to live your life, a magnificent life. And you might fear a bit of, oh, my goodness me, what am I doing when some new project appears or something unknown? And that's just natural.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know something until we know it.
I know.
And if we haven't done something before, of course we feel a bit, ooh, you know. My husband and I do ballroom dancing, which is the best thing we've ever done, I tell you.
Oh, I know.
Well, one of the best things we've ever done. And as you know, you and I have chatted about dancing. But when we first did a showcase routine at one of our studio balls, you know, I mean, of course we were nervous. I'd never got up and danced in front of anyone. God, what are you, crazy? Even the most confident person who's got all the personality and the sort of showbiz presence, they feel fear underneath, all of them. You can see half of them, you know.
I know.
It's just normal. But the thing is, it's this basis within yourself. You needn't fear, even though that's all just passing whatever because of something that's new and unfamiliar. That doesn't matter. It's irrelevant, really. Those experiences come and go, but the basis of your life is established in this strong, deeply rooted energy that's coming from you. So you don't need external traditions holding you in place, as it were. This is coming from within you. And, you know, nothing can go wrong when you're rooted and established within yourself like that.
You're absolutely right. I mean, that's why we're doing what we're doing here. I mean, let's talk about the vision. Let's talk about the future and what we're planning for conscious confidence. Because, you know, I was joking about the fact that, you know, these 5 words and how to come to these 5 words, there's so much that is encompassed in these 5 words, not just in what we're doing on radio, but you have a vision for this. Please tell us about the vision. And by the way, there's a brand new website that just went up, sarahmane.com, and it's SARAHMANE.com. And so what I would like you to do is take a look at it, because you're going to want to watch this. You're going to want to watch what happens and how this grows. Because, Sarah, you got a big vision. I mean, maybe it's like Latin ballroom.
I'm sure I totally understand the dance reference there, Pat. I'll go with it anyway.
Okay.
Yes, my vision for conscious confidence is that everyone finds a deep connection within themselves, and a lasting deep connection that is true. And from that, that I can teach that the real meaning of confidence, and I've gone back to what the Sanskrit says. This is where the timeless wisdom comes in, because it's all there. Sanskrit's got everything. The word Sanskrit means whole, well, perfectly formed, beautifully formed. And Sanskrit is complete, and its power is in this completeness. And I was fortunate enough to be introduced to Sanskrit at a young age, and I studied it for many, many years, and at university, and still study it. It's just a lifelong study, and I know many, many people that do as well, and each finds their own fulfillment in it. But the Sanskrit has opened up the real meaning of confidence. And the beauty about Sanskrit, and I'm sure one day we'll have a conversation on this.
Yeah.
It tells you where you'll find something. It's based in the energy or the action. It's not just a concept or a name of in the meaning of a word. So I took the word confidence and looked into its meaning. I found actually 12 words for confidence, and each one grouped into about 4 different energies. And so there is a 4-fold energy to evolving true confidence within yourself. And it starts with a focusing. Then continues to a uniting, then a simplifying, and an energizing. So if you think of fuse, F-U-S-E, they are the 4 parts. It's the 4-fold energy of confidence itself. And we're talking about evolving within yourself based on your true values, your core values, your attitude, that platform gives you then the ability to focus, unite, simplify, and then energize your life and evolve conscious confidence. And it's a constantly evolving, ever-growing direction in your life. It's not this narrow parallel lines.
Right.
It's like this.
Wow.
And it's absolutely magnificent, and it's all within yourself. It's within every single person, and that is the timeless wisdom.
Wow. Sarah, what a great show, and what a beautiful introduction to something you and I are going to share with our audience for weeks and weeks and months to come. Thank you so much for today. One last question. Doesn't the hour fly by? Can you believe it? Oh my gosh. I'm getting like we got 30 seconds. I'm getting the cue. What would be your personal message? What would you like to leave us with today?
Would you like to hear some Sanskrit?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to give you a quick prayer. It says, it means all be happy, may all be happy, may all be without disease, may all see only good things, and may none be in misery of any sort. Isn't that a beautiful prayer?
Yes.
And in Sanskrit, I'll sing it for you. It goes, Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet.
Oh, that's beautiful. Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For all of you out there, there's more to come, because the one thing you said you want more of is conscious confidence. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Conscious Confidence with Sarah Main. Join us next month on Transformation Talk Radio for more timeless wisdom with Sarah's exciting and innovative approach to living. Discover more joy, freedom, and step into your limitless potential. For more information on Sarah Main and her work, or to listen to past shows, visit sarahmain.com.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.